The views expressed on this program belong to writer and host Travis Cobb. Not LSU, not the Manship School, not Tiger TV. Just this guy pointing at you. So come at him, lawyers. This is The Update.
I'm sorry, my mic wasn't on there. Why can't my Cowboys just win one Super Bowl? Anyway, a lot going on in yesterday's Super Bowl. High expectations, especially since Denver and Seattle were both from states with legalized marijuana. It was almost impossible for viewers to look at all of that grass on the field and not want to eat all of the food at your party immediately. But while we're talking weed, the head coach of the NFL, Roger Goodell, I think that's his title, unless of course you ask people here in Louisiana, you probably get a phrase that is unfit for television. Anyway, Goodell will still punish the weed smokers like he punishes safeties for punishing receivers for going over the middle. I know a thing or two about sport.
Our experts right now are not indicating that we should change our policy in any way. We are not actively considering that at this point in time. But if it does down the road sometime, that's something we would never take off the table if it can benefit our players at the end of the day. So I don't see any change in the near future.
Benefit players, like NFL players with booze right now, can drink, and it's basically like steroids. No negative side effects. It's just a benefit for everyone involved. You might be saying, look, alcohol is legal, and the NFL shouldn't regulate that kind of stuff. But look, the horizon, there's a light coming, possibly from the end of a lighter.
Marijuana for casual users, individual users, is subject to abuse just like alcohol is, and should be treated as a public health problem and challenge. But as I said in the interview, my concern is when you end up having very heavy criminal penalties for individual users that have been applied unevenly and in some cases with a racial disparity.
Just like a scrum for the ball. That one might be a rugby term and also not apply here at all. But look, if it can't be regulated fairly, it can't be regulated. Look, Louisiana, just because it's happening everywhere else doesn't mean it'll happen here. There are dozens of states that could have medicinal marijuana before Louisiana. I mean, look at us. We stuff plastic babies into our cakes just to see who has to buy a cake for the next chance to avoid buying a plastic baby cake. What do you mean the Texan has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to Mardi Gras? Point being, Louisiana probably has a lot more to settle than just pot regulation.
I agree with the president.
Go on.
I agree with the president. We don't need to be locking up people who aren't the dealers, who aren't committing other crimes, especially those who aren't committing other violent crimes. I think there are better uses of our dollars, and I think we can rehabilitate those folks. But I do think that given all the problems facing our country, there are other issues that are more important, especially when it comes to growing our economy.
Wait, what state is he the governor of? A strong economic and not in any way scare tactical argument about a drug that could possibly help people? I'm listening, Governor of Hippie Town. Wait, no, I'm just getting confirmation that this guy is from Louisiana. So cool, bruh. The president is on board for some revisions. Our very own Bobby Jindal is on board for some revisions. If the United States and the state of Louisiana is behind one single entity, an idea that no one outside the state would believe could happen here, but the people behind legalization fervently believe and root for it to puff, puff, pass. It's an underdog story. Why is it that Roger Goodell would be oppositional or even one step behind such a thing? I have no clue. Hey, speaking of no clue, coming up after the break, I talk about a former NBA player who has no clue of what his actions in North Korea are doing. Missing the Mark is next.
The reason why I drink is because I'm bored.
You drink because you're bored?
Absolutely. I've been saying it for years.
Welcome back to the show. You've probably heard of Dennis Rodman, some of you for his top-notch rebounding skills while in the NBA, and some of you for his not-so-top-notch relations with North Korea. Now, to be fair, Rodman's personal relations with the North Korean government are A-OK.
I don't know the Marshal as a dictator. I don't know him like that. All I know is the fact with him, it's more like he's a 31-year-old guy, and I call him a kid all the time. And I said, yeah, he's my friend. I look at him like that because he gave me the opportunity to at least come in the country of North Korea to bring a basketball team over there to show the world. Let's just show the world that we can actually get along.
Exactly. It's not like Rodman had an opportunity to showcase his skills for the latter part of the 90s with his airness, Michael Jordan. Instead, he's now showing off for his shortness, Kim Jong-un. What's that? Wait, it was Kim Jong-il that was notoriously short. Are you saying I have to update my material on North Korea? All right, fine. Where was I?
I keep telling people, I'm not there to be an ambassador to try to figure out why did you go, why are you doing all these things? That's not my job. My job is to go over there and do one thing, to go over there and see if I can actually bring two countries together for at least a couple of days to see that we can actually get along.
Ah, yes, I might have to update my jokes about the leaders of North Korea, but the tragic policies and actions towards their people stay the same. What Rodman fails to understand is that the dictator he's putting on a good show for is not doing the same toward his own people, and even toward American citizens.
I don't want anyone to go in any country or anywhere in the world to be hostage for something that maybe they did or did not do. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not in government. I don't know how that works. But dealing with the Bay family, you know, I like I said, I feel for them. I feel for them deeply because I don't want, if it was, like I said, like this, I would do anything. I would do anything. Literally, this is Dennis Rodman talking. If they said, we'll take Dennis Rodman and we'll let Kenan Bay go, I said, you know what? I'll do that. Straight ahead, I'll do it. Take me.
Here's the thing about saying something like that and actually meaning it. You've said, Mr. Rodman, you're not any part of being an ambassador, and that's fine. You're a former NBA star. A third wheel to what Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen did, but nonetheless an NBA star. But when you say that you would make the deal to give yourself up so Kenneth Bay could be free, you're stepping out of the NBA star round. And you have the ear of Kim Jong-un, it is something you could do. But instead you decide to entertain him and try to fool us about what you can and can't do about relations with North Korea. When you say you would switch with Kenneth Bay, you don't mean it. No one in their right mind would. You're lying, and you're missing the mark. Coming up, that cold, wet, white stuff did more than just make us go to school on Saturday. Find out what exactly that was next.
But I also want you to know this. I'm going back to work.
Welcome back to the update. Let's now send it to weather because apparently that's a huge deal now. Yes, it's warm now, but just a week ago, it was the Snowpocalypse. And while here in Baton Rouge, nothing big happened, let's take a trip to Atlanta, where the players play, and see just how bad snow can be.
I think it's way too early to be talking about firing anybody. I don't look for scapegoats, as I said earlier today. I think it's important that we identify what the problems are. We've already had a meeting with our major agency heads, and we've asked the question of them, what would you do differently? What do we need to do better? And how do we go about making sure that we fill all of the holes for future endeavor?
Yes, the inevitable fallout of any disaster, the blame game. No 2-inch snowpocalypse would be complete without one. They do have to answer about what they would do differently. Earlier today, the city of Atlanta made a severe weather task force in response to the snowfall last week. Now, just to make a time machine so the freeway in Atlanta doesn't look like a snow globe of abandoned cars, or a time machine to go back and not say that you're ready for the storm when you're clearly not. Can we just have time machines? Okay, moving on. What's going to happen differently in the future?
The other thing that I'm going to do is when I hear a severe weather event, I'm going to call it. And if other folks don't agree, that's going to be on them. But I'm not going to rely on respecting the independent units.
All right then. Weather event can also mean sunshine and warm breezes, right? I'd like those government updates. So it looks like Atlanta is going to be more ready in the future for snow and other weather events. Reactionary as we are in nature, is it going to take a city shutting down that way for everyone to prepare themselves? The thing about the South is we're not exactly used to snowstorms. So instead of hearing what we should have done,
I actually apologized the first day. And, you know, apologies are something that don't change the circumstances.
let's see about what we should do in the future. Hopefully another snowstorm won't freeze another southern city. I would have ended with something more creative, but my mind doesn't operate well in the cold. You could say I suffered from a brain freeze. Okay, I swear I'm done with the puns. That was the Last one you'll hear from me, and until next week, that is. Until then, remember to keep up with us at our website at tigertv.tv. It's brand new. Follow me on Twitter at TravisCobb5, or follow the show at TTV Update, or just follow anything you can. I don't care. I don't control you. Until then, go update yourself.